Hello everyone, we're back with another lovely video that you have to make. I don't want to make these videos, keep saying this at the start, because everyone thinks it's like you're thriving on negativity. It's not. Look at the Joe Roden video, look at the Max Aaron's video last week, where I'm praying and I'm really excited at the signings of the potential signing of Max Aaron's and the change of the club and stuff like this. And I'm buzzing. I'm absolutely buzzing. That's what I want to come in here and talk about. I was so buzzing about this window because I thought, my God, it's new ownership. You've got Parag Marate saying, I negotiate contracts in my sleep. Remember that one? You've got a brand new ownership who are talking about having an aggressive transfer window. And we've had a week, probably the worst week since they've been in charge, where you've had injury upon injury upon injury. Two players essentially refusing to play. We figured that out from the Athletic today as well. When it comes to Sinisterra, he has a relegation clause in his contract, which he was feeling a little niggle, so he didn't want to play yesterday, which is a little bit more understandable than others. But there you go. That's the news. So we've had stuff like that. We've had a truly horrific performance against Birmingham City, which shows no credentials for promotion whatsoever. And this hasn't been dramatic. I said this yesterday. We're looking down rather than up. 100%. 100%. And the reason I say that is because the squad is so weak now. So weak. And you've got players, an array of players now arcing for moves out of the club. Players including Sinisterra, obviously. Jack Harrison, which we'll get onto in a little bit, which looks like it's going to be concluded soon. Tyler Adams. Will Crescencio Somerville be looking for a move? Who knows? Jorginho Rutter, is that going to come out at some point? There'll be a clause in his contract, 100%. Or is he fully committed to Leeds United? Because this landscape can now change. Because players who are within this club, who maybe like a Rutter or a Somerville, thought maybe others were going to stick around. Playing with them in the Championship, the calibre of side's going to be high. Now these players are seeing that these players want to go, and the club really aren't doing anything. It's hampering us massively when it comes to FFP, because the news today is that Jack Harrison is going to be going to Everton on loan, likely. I don't know if that's ended their interest in Willian Yonto. It looks like it might do. With the 4-4-2 system with Dyche, you can see how Harrison fits in a little bit better. But ultimately, it's another day. Leeds are spending Sunday when we need to be going out and getting players. Anyway, Leeds are spending another day, another hour, another minute, facilitating another loan move away from Leeds United, which has fuck all benefit to us whatsoever. Jack Harrison could have been sold to Leicester in January for 20+ million quid. Signed a contract with Leeds. Obviously, he's got a clause in his contract. Jack looking super happy on those pictures of him being, signed and sealed and all that sort of stuff. I don't blame Jack Harrison. He'll want to play in the Premier League, and I get that. And he was one of the assets that I was thinking, because we touted him out for 20 million quid, which the 49ers, by the way, stopped, which we understood. The 49ers stopped in January. They didn't want to lose him. They wanted to convince him to stay. Do you remember that was the whole thing this summer? They wanted to convince Jack to stay. That's obviously not happened. Everton have triggered a clause in his contract. And Sinisterra has also a relegation clause in his contract, which looks to be a little bit different from Jack's, apparently, but it is still a clause which can be triggered. I don't know what more to say, really. I'm almost just at a given up phase. And the season's not even started. There is no positivity whatsoever. You'll see, happy clappers, the super fans have all gone quiet, because unfortunately, these are the facts. Leeds are in shit right now. In absolute shit. And I'm trying to find positives. I try to find positives with Joe Roden. I try to find positives with Max Aaron's last week, and we're being really positive on videos. But why am I you can't polish a turd. You can't sugarcoat it. Some people who are just genuinely deluded and want to, I had someone on Twitter saying to me, Connor, can you please give me some positives? I'm not a therapist. I'm here to talk about Leeds United. These are the stone cold facts. We have now loaned, if Jack goes, 10 players out. Well, sorry, we've let 10 players go in this window, and we've recouped 4.8 million quid. What am I on here to be positive about? Joe Roden? I bet he's looking around and going, fucking hell, what on earth is this? What have I signed up for here? As is Daniel Farker. The hilarious thing is, you're still getting people, and I did call this at the time. I wasn't happy about Kinnear sticking around, to be honest. And by the way, what a job Nick Hammond's now got to do. You know, probably not realising what was happening as well. The 49ers will have convinced Daniel Farke, and there's no chance Farke knew all of these little mishaps, and he's pretty much said these in the interviews as well. You know, he said it right at the start when we were playing at York City Stadium. I can't remember who the friendly was against, but he said right at the start, he said, look, this is not good. This is not how we want business to run, with having all of these loan clauses in people's contracts. It shouldn't be like this. So he had no idea. There's no way he's culpable and coming in and damaging his reputation to deal with this shit. The 49ers, I mean, Parag has gone on consistently about being a ruthless negotiator. We had a big interview with him on the Leeds United podcast. I revisited that this morning, and some of the stuff that he was talking about was absolutely hilarious. I understand they're shackled by FFP now, apparently. We don't even know our state when it comes to FFP, but we're not bringing in any money. The previous regime has now hampered and influenced this regime. But I just can't understand how shrewd negotiators are at Leeds United from 2017 to 2018, and when contracts are being signed and agreed, there's no 49ers representative at all in any of the negotiations. Victor Orta, and that's it. Signing everything. What about the CEO? Because the CEO in top businesses, you know, I dealt with a CEO not long ago. And all he was doing was talking to me about contract negotiations, and him being the face of the contract, and him going into contract negotiations with another CEO, a partnered CEO, and dealing with that as part of my work. That is what a chief operating executive, or however you want to abbreviate it, does. They're involved in negotiations. So this transitional period from Brad Brazzani to the 49ers, and Angus Kinnear being the link, why did Angus not know about it? Why did the 49ers not have any representatives in and around these contract negotiations? Nothing. They know nothing, apparently, according to some Leeds fans. It's just been thrown on them. Not sure about that. Not sure about that whatsoever. Maybe the extent of it they've not known, but they'll have known. They'll have 100% known, I'm certain of that. And Angus Kinnear 100% knew of it all. So unless he's just been keeping it to himself, I've no idea what this guy's even here for. It's a damning state of affairs, and I'm looking at it now and I'm thinking, we'll be lucky to finish in 15th. Really? I'm actually thinking that now. Now, Farke's got a 4-year contract. He's not going to walk away from that. You know, he's got guaranteed payment for the next 4 years. But maybe if he was on a lesser contract, if Leeds hadn't given out their biggest contract in their history to a manager, he'd be thinking about moving on pretty quickly. But I can't understand what's going on with this club at the minute. It's an absolute shit show. And even if we bring in 5 or 6 new bodies in the next 2 weeks, which we won't, if we bring in 5 or 6 new bodies, I still can't see how the synergy and the cohesion is going to work. We need so many additions now. It feels toxic down there. And when you've got even the likes of Sinisterra and Nonso, and you could even maybe throw Adams in there. We don't know what he's like behind the scenes. We're speculating, but if he's arcing for a move as well, is it all going to be that? And these are you know, when you look at Sinisterra, when you're looking at Adams, these are senior players down there, and they're arcing for moves away. You know what I mean? What's it going to be like in training? It must just be absolutely toxic. I fully believe that. Willie Nonso is now going to be with the club, and he's going to be training with the 18s. That's the disciplinary action, but he's still there. You know, young lads are still going to be looking over like Archie Gray and Cody Drama and be like, oh, bloody hell, you know, and we know Nonso is younger, but it's a toxic environment, him still being there, and the club want to hold on to him because he's not got a clause in his contract, which could instigate that we've got a little bit of money and we can spend some money, but it doesn't feel like that. It doesn't feel like that. And I just don't understand I mentioned this yesterday, the loan market, the free agent market. Anything is better than having Jamie Shackleton on the right, Jan Poveda in the middle, Dan James in there, and Gelhardt up front, which that is, by the way, League One, lower level League One, League Two operation up top. And that's what we're dealing with. Now Leeds, if they lose Harrison, are going to have to go out and buy wingers. We're going to have to get wingers because you can't deal with the whole season of Somerville and Dan James, which we saw yesterday. Brain dead James. I'm still seeing online that apparently because he puts 110% effort in, we all should be licking his arse. Not for me. You can put 110% effort in, but you can also be a crap footballer. Two separate things. It's great that he puts 110% effort in, but I think a lot of people are now going on that bandwagon more than ever because we're seeing these shithouses who don't want to play for the football club. That's why people are now drumming on that. Oh, at least he wants to play for Leeds. Well, yeah, that should be the bare minimum. The bare minimum should be he wants to play for Leeds. I'm not patting him on the back for that. He can't play football. He's below average, and we saw that yesterday with his brain dead penalty that he gave away and his diabolical corner kicks, which all went straight into John Ruddy's hands, which Mark Rocker was getting slaughtered for last season. You know, it's different rules for different players, and that's what irritates me sometimes about the fan base. But overall, it's just a shit show. And I'd love to come on here and tell you that we're interested in player X, Y, and Z, but we're not. Or we might be, but behind the scenes, that's what the 49ers do. Behind the scenes. We're cooking behind the scenes. Are we? Are we? Show me some evidence. Absolute shithole, everyone. I'm sick of hearing every single day more and more. You guys know that I've never been a massive Jack Harrison fan, but get a fee for him. Get a fee for him. What a week. What a week. Oh my God, it's aged me about 40 years this week. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. Bring me up if you can. Beam me up, Scotty. But at this moment in time, you just got to call a spade a spade. There's nothing that's going on. You're getting all the journalists saying it's a shit show. You're getting all the fans saying it's a shit show, apart from the happy clappers and the super fans who aren't, in my opinion, you know, even really interested in the goings on. It's just about supporting Leeds no matter what. And I'm, as you can probably tell, I'm visibly pissed off with everything that's going on because it seems to be, it's always us, isn't it? And I'm playing, you know, I feel like it's a victim thing here, but I do feel it's always us. You know, why can't we be run? You know, why can't we be a Leicester and a Southampton in this division? You know, why can't we throw our weight around? I was talking at the start of the season about using bully boy tactics. I said yesterday, we're like 3-week-old puppies at the minute. We're scared, we're timid, we're terrified, we're shite when it comes to business negotiations. We've got clauses here, there, and everywhere because of the previous guy who was the, and we're talking about Radwazani here, but obviously his sub guy in Victor Orta was one of the, in my opinion, one of the worst things that's actually happened to the club, because what he's done with all these contracts could set us back years. And we're just there, and we're here now, we're existing. You know, for all the people who are talking about promotion and all this sort of stuff. I mean, Leicester are already 5 points ahead of us. I said this at the start of the season, and that's why you've got to say it, everybody, because people criticise you on here consistently for being pessimistic and negative. But guess what? It's realism. It's realism. You know, we're never going to recruit. You know, you heard people saying, "Oh, we're going to recruit 20 million for Rocker, 25 million for Aronson," all these inflated fees for these footballers who've been absolutely shite over the year anyway. So we're never going to get that sort of fee for those players anyway. But these clauses, which obviously fans weren't to know about, but these clauses have just absolutely ripped it out. And I don't understand how we can work within these restraints anymore. How on earth are we going to go out and do anything in the remainder of the window? It was summarised, I should say, by us bringing in Carl Darlow for 400 grand. Now, if we're throwing our weight around, I don't mind Darlow at all, but if you're throwing your weight around, a comparative there would be going out and buying a Sam Johnston. You know what I mean? And spending 5 to 10 million on him. But we just don't, the 49ers enterprise evidently do have the money, but we're hampered because we brought in I think in about the best part of 10 years, what value have we brought in at Ellen Road? Rafinha and Phillips. You're throwing Pontus Jansson in there. Charlie Taylor in the best part of 10 years. You know, Byram, I guess, when he initially went, Lewis Cook. You can count them on two hands in 10 years. You know, you look at the last 5 years, it's Phillips and Rafinha, isn't it? So the club cannot work within these. They can just, the 49ers, if they wanted, could just think, you know, screw this, we're going for it. And not even work within the restraints, you know, like Aston Villa did when they went up. They can do that. But they're going to have to find, like, canny ways around it now. Free agents. Loan market. Exploit that. But if I'm a loan player and I'm looking at Leeds right now, I'm thinking, you know, a player potentially coming on, and I'm thinking, no way am I going there with everything that's going on. You don't know what's going to happen in 2 weeks' time. You know, 2 weeks ago, if you'd have said Nonto's not going to play for Leeds, Sinisterra is evidently refusing to play for Leeds, Harrison goes for a loan fee, Adams was going for 20 million quid, but then the deal fell through because Chelsea went for Moises Caicedo. And then if someone was to say to you, Somerville's out for a month, Firpo would not have a return date, and Coops is now out for 2 months, you'd be turning around and going, shut up, Connor, surely not. Oh, and we've lost to Birmingham, and we've drawn to a Cardiff side who got beat at home by QPR yesterday. QPR are in financial disarray and are probably going to finish rock bottom. You'd have turned around after all those circumstances and go, shut up, Connor. That's ridiculous. But it's in the books, the novel of Leeds United. This just happens and happens and happens. And it's difficult for me. They've got to, if they don't get their shit together, quickly, we're not picking up any points in the next 2 games. We're just not. And I don't care what run of form West Bromwich Albion have been on. You cannot be starting Jamie Shackleton right wing, Ian Paveda in central attacking midfielder, Joe Gelhardt up front, and Dan James left wing in the Championship. It's just not good enough. You know, as an aggressive transfer window, this has been an absolute shit show. And I understand they've been hampered. I get they've been hampered. But also they've got to start making things happen. And I'm not convinced that they didn't know a lot of what was going on. I'm not convinced of it. There's no way. To be as good as they are in business, or as good as they profess to be in business, Angus Kinnear and the 49ers Enterprises, there had to be some understanding of these clauses in the contracts. And if that is the case, why haven't they found a way to work around it? Dumping ground, everybody. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. It is what it is.